up, everybody, and welcome to the Robbie.G podcast with your host, me, Robbie.G, and we are sponsored by BMG Money. If you need a loan, come hit me up on my email, which is at the bottom of this podcast. You'll see it in the show notes. Hit me up on my email address, and I will send you a link to BMG Money, and you can use my promo code to get a loan. Good credit, bad credit, doesn't matter. If you need a loan up to $2,000, they'll have you covered. Make sure you contact BMG Money, and like I said, email me, or if you follow me on social media, send me an instant message on one of the platforms, and I'll send you guys the link to that. So make sure you do that. And I just want to wish everybody a happy birthday that has a birthday today, September 19th. It's a Thursday. That's right. And let's see what celebrities share a birthday with all of you. So let's go into it. Today, Jimmy Fallon turns the big 50. That's right. Jimmy Fallon is 50. Basketball player Trae Young turns 26. former WWE superstar Eva Marie turns 40. Actor Jeremy Irons, 76. And the original Batman, Adam West, would have also had a birthday today. For Friday, September 20th, wrestler Sexy Star is going to be 42. Young Jock is going down, turns 43. Gary Cole, make sure you share your birthday cake with Milton this time, Mr. Lumberg. He turns 68. Kristen Johnson from Third Rock from the Sun is 57. And Sophia Loren turns 90. Birthdays for Saturday, September 21st. Jason Derulo turns 35. Writer Stephen King, 77. Ghostbuster Bill Murray turns 74. Alfonso Ribeiro turns 53. Joey from Full House, Dave Coulier, 65, and the ex of Alanis Morissette. That's a big one. He turns 65, and singer and actress Faith Hill turns 57. And then, of course, Sunday, a few birthdays for that day. Tom Felton turns 37. She still loves rock and roll like me. Joan Jett is 66. So is Andrea Bocelli. Scott Baio, Charles in Charge, and Chachi turns 64. And actress Bonnie Hunt turns 63. So happy birthday to all those celebrities celebrating a birthday. Hopefully you guys all have a great weekend if it's your birthday too. All right, let's get the show kicked off. Let's get started with some NFL, just like we always do. So let's see how I did last week. It was not the greatest of weeks for me. I went 8-8 for 50%, which is not where I like to be right now in week 2. But for the season, for my picks for the NFL, I went 20-12 for 62.5%. So let's go over last week's games, and then we'll go over this week's games. So let's see who was playing and who won last week. I'm telling you now, it's not as easy as it seems to pick the teams that win, because there was a lot of upsets last week. In fact, a lot of these games were upsets. So let's go into it. Last Thursday night, the Buffalo Bills won 31-10 over the Miami Dolphins. I picked that one. The Dallas Cowboys lost to the New Orleans Saints, and not just lost, but they got their ass spanked 44-19. Now, I chose the Dallas Cowboys in that, but I'm kind of glad that the Saints won, because Alvin Kamara went off, and he is my running back for my fantasy team. And he got me some major pointage when he got his 3 touchdowns last week. That was amazing. Hopefully he has another repeat performance of that this week. But yeah, Saints over the Dallas Cowboys. The Detroit Lions lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20-16. I projected Detroit was going to win that game, and they lost it for me. San Francisco 49ers lost their game to the Minnesota Vikings, who are now 2-0, 23-17. The Chargers keep charging through with Jim Harbaugh. He was undefeated with Michigan last year, 12-0. And then of this year, starting with the Chargers, he's undefeated 2-0. That means in his football coaching career, the last 2 seasons, he is 14-0 right now. But he's got a big test coming up against the Minnesota Vikings this week. Or no, Pittsburgh Steelers. That's even bigger. 26-3 was the final over Carolina last week, who are now 0-2. We got a little news out of Carolina to talk about in a little while, too. The Indianapolis Colts lost to the Packers 16-10 in a very close game, and they allowed a second-string quarterback come in and look like a superstar. Not good. Indianapolis Colts got the Bears this week. They lost 16-10. They are now 0-2. The New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers beat the Tennessee Titans 24-17. Titans go to 0-2 on the year. Seattle Seahawks go 2-0 by beating the New England Patriots 23-20. The Cleveland Browns win 18-13 last week over Jacksonville. Washington Commanders are 1-1, beating the now 0-2 New York Giants 21-18. Baltimore was upset by the Las Vegas Raiders. Here's the funny thing, only 2% of people picked the Las Vegas Raiders to beat the Baltimore Ravens last week, who are now 0-2 for the first time since 2014. That's crazy. Los Angeles Rams are 0-2 now. They lost to the Arizona Cardinals 41-10. Marvin Harrison Jr. finally had a good game out of his first two games. First game, he had like one catch for 4 yards. This one, he had 2 touchdowns and like 130 yards catching. That's amazing. The Kansas City Chiefs win 26-25, barely beating the Bengals in that game. Took a field goal by Harrison Buckner to win that one. So they won 26-25. Kansas City Chiefs 2-0. Pittsburgh Steelers go to 2-0 with Justin Fields winning the game 13-6. Justin Fields threw his first touchdown as a Steeler and 117 yards. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. 2-0, they beat the Broncos. Chicago Bears lose to the Houston Texans, who are now 2-0, 19-13. We'll talk about that game in a little while. And then that was Sunday Night Football. And of course, Monday Night Football, the big upset. The Atlanta Falcons beat the Philadelphia Eagles 22-21. Let's go over the games for this week, and I'll do my picks for that. Tonight, you will see the New York Jets facing off against the New England Patriots. I've got the New York Jets with the win there. Thursday Night Football, always a big one, so we'll see what happens there. Aaron Rodgers likes to shine in prime time, so we'll see if he does or not. Cleveland Browns and New York Giants. I got the Cleveland Browns only because, the Giants are just terrible right now. I don't foresee Daniel Jones lasting much longer. So I don't think that's going to be a win there. Tennessee Titans and the Green Bay Packers. I took the Tennessee Titans, and I'll tell you why. They're not going to go 0-17 this year. They're going to beat somebody. The Packers are coming off of the first start of their second-string quarterback. There's actual film on him now. I really believe that Levis will pull off enough to beat the Packers. So I'm taking the Tennessee Titans in that one. Chicago Bears and the Indianapolis Colts. I've got the Bears taking that game. I think Caleb Williams is going to have a decent game in this one. I think this is a game that he really needs to open up, and the offense needs to open up more. You're going against a very bad Indianapolis Colts defense and a not-so-great offense. You should be able to win this one. The Packers defense held the Colts to 10 points last week. They won 16-10. So I really, really believe that the Bears defense can hold them too, because I think our defense is better than the Packers defense. So there you go. Now, 56% of people are choosing the Colts, and that's because the Bears have been struggling offensively. Had the Bears been doing good offensively and defensively, that would have been a lot different. Houston Texans and the the Minnesota Vikings. I got the Houston Texans winning this one. They're going to 3-0, Minnesota to 2-1. I think Sam Bradford is going to finally get sussed out. He's not as good as people make him out to be, and I think this is going to be a big test for them, just like it was for us. New Orleans Saints and Philadelphia Eagles. I got the Saints winning that. I think Kamara is going to have another great game. Another 2-3 touchdown performance for me. I'm going against one of my best friends in fantasy this week, so I need this. So hopefully I'm going to be right on this one. Los Angeles Chargers, 2-0 against the 2-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. I have got the Chargers winning this one. Jim Harbaugh goes 3-0, and Justin Fields and Pittsburgh are going to finally get their first loss. I think Justin Fields throws 1 touchdown and 2 picks. He's won 2 games without any turnovers. I think it's about to happen. And when it happens, it's going to happen bad. 2 to 3 picks in a game. Maybe even a fumble. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2-0 right now. They're going against the 0-2 Broncos. I think that's a foregone conclusion. Tampa Bay with the win. Las Vegas Raiders, Carolina Panthers. Panthers are in just peril right now. I'll talk about this in a minute, but Bryce Young is benched. Andy Dalton coming in. I think Andy Dalton could have a decent game, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and the Raiders are going to win that one. The Seattle Seahawks, 2-0 against the Miami Dolphins, 1-1. I got the Seahawks winning that one. I think Baltimore gets their first win against the Cowboys. Cowboys just aren't playing great in their 2 games this year. I think that they're going to lose, and the Ravens get their first win of the season. San Francisco is going to beat the Rams. Matthew Stafford just don't have it no more. He got what he wanted. He got exactly what he wanted to get in his career, and I think he's going to be done. At least that's my opinion, and I might be wrong. I mean, look, Matthew Stafford could not do it in Detroit with the Lions. He goes to the Rams, he wins one there. I think that's it. That's all he's going to have. And that's fine. Hey, there's great quarterbacks who've never won a ring. Dan Marino is one of them. Never won a ring in his career. One of the best quarterbacks. And I think Stafford has had his time. He won the one. And that's it. He'll make the Hall of Fame one day. And he'll have a decent career just like he's been doing. But, yeah, I mean, that's all you need is one Super Bowl ring. I'd be happy if Caleb Williams has got us one ring in the next few years. It'll be awesome. Detroit Lions and Arizona Cardinals. I still think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have a good game again, but I think they're going to lose. Detroit goes 2-1. Kansas City Chiefs 2-0 against the Atlanta Falcons, who are 1-1. This one's Sunday Night Football. It's time for Mahomes and Kelsey to shine, especially if Taylor is there in Atlanta. So, yes, I think that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win that one and go 3-0. Buffalo Bills 2-0 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 0-2. I think that my friend Ray and me are taking each other on. He's got Josh Allen. I want the Bills to win this game because I picked them to beat Jacksonville, but I don't want him to have the greatest game. And I think if he gets like around 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, I could still win my fantasy game depending on how Jalen Hurts and all them do in this week. So we'll see how that goes, and I am taking the Buffalo Bills. We're going to be 3-0. Now, there's 2 Monday Night Football games this week. That's not the only one. The last one is the Cincinnati Bengals and the Washington Commanders. I've got the Bengals getting their first win of the season, and the Commanders are going to go 1-2. Jaden Daniels is going to struggle a little bit against Cincinnati. I think even though 0-2, you still got Joe Burrow you got to worry about. So I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals in that game. So that's my picks for the week. We'll see what happens. Let's talk a little bit about Justin Fields right now. And we're going to tie this in a little bit to the Chicago Bears. So first, let's talk about Bryce Young. People are already calling him a bust. He's only had 1 season. But let's look at his stats really quick and see what he's done in the last 2 years that warranted getting benched in your second game of your second season. So if you look at his stats, in Carolina, last year he threw for 2,800 yards, but only 11 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. You can't do that. You can't only have 11 touchdowns for a whole season. He played the entire season. I don't think he even sat out a game. Let me check to make sure. Let's see. Does it say if he played every game? Let's look at his stats. So I'm pretty sure he played every game. Yeah. Games played 16. So he played 16 out of 17 games last year. Because there's 17 games now. So he missed 1 game the whole year last year. Threw 11 touchdowns in that little a time. He got sacked 62 times. His longest pass is 48 yards. I mean, he just struggled altogether. I mean, the 2,800 yards I don't have a problem with in your rookie year. It's the only 11 touchdowns that I have an issue with. And then in 2 games this year, he's thrown 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, which brings his total to, and only, how many yards did he throw for in those 2 games? Only 245 yards in 2 games this year. So he has really struggled. 13 interceptions and 11 touchdowns in 2 seasons. Well, 1 full season and 2 games. But still, that's only 18 games, and he's thrown 11 touchdowns and 13 picks. That is not going to keep you in this league. He had a QBR this year of 9.1, and his other rating is at 44. That's horrible. Terrible. So yeah, he deserves to sit out and let Andy Dalton come in, see what he can do. This doesn't have to be the end for him. All this is going to do... Now, he did have 1 rushing touchdown this year. So he's been in the end zone 1 time as a rusher. So that's not horrible. But you just can't... With those kind of stats, you just can't do anything. And you can't play like that. So Andy Dalton coming in, and he's going to go in there and hopefully turn it around a little for Carolina. I don't think they necessarily want a top 2 pick again this year. They had the number 1 pick last year. They're on track to be a top 3 pick if they keep losing out games. They're definitely going to be another top 3 pick. Who do you get this time? Do you go for another quarterback? Do you trade Bryce Young and go for another quarterback? Do you reset the clock again and hope that you get another good rookie? I don't know what their stance is going to be in Carolina, but that's just really sad. All right, let's move on to Justin Fields now. Justin Fields, so far this year, let's look at his stats. Go to the little ESPN machine over here and see what he did. So this year, in his games, in the regular season, let's see if we have all his stats here. Why is that only versus the AFC? I don't want that. Okay, here we go. So this year, he's thrown for 273 yards in 2 games and 1 touchdown, no picks. Justin Fields, obviously in Chicago, was very well known for taking sacks and holding the ball too long and fumbles and interceptions a little too. But not as bad as his fumbles. His fumbles are like a record thing. In 2022 for the Bears, he had 9 fumbles. In 2021, he had 4. 2023, he had 3. This year, he's had 2 fumbles already. So, I mean, he is kind of a butterfingers when they snap him the ball. But it happens, especially when you run a lot, like he does. Stat-wise, not horrible. You know, the 1 touchdown, 273 yards, and a better offensive line. And that's what I'm getting at with this. I have seen people already saying that Caleb Williams needs to get benched. We need Tyson Bagent coming in here. We should have kept Justin Fields. Justin Fields with a good offensive line, a better offensive line in Pittsburgh. He's been sacked 4 times in 2 games. Not horrible for a guy who still once in a while holds on to the ball too long. He's got a way better offensive line, and he still only has the 1 touchdown. You know, you can say, well, Caleb Williams hasn't thrown his first touchdown yet either. He had 2 that should have been caught. 1 by Odunze last week that was in his hands. He went up to grab it. It was in his hands. He tried to come down with it and lost the ball. That's on Odunze. Keenan Allen the week before. That should have been a touchdown right in his hands. Not there. That's 2 touchdowns that got taken away. If you look at the Justin Fields stats right here, 1 touchdown in 2 weeks. Does he have any rushing? Let's see. No rushing touchdowns this year. He's rushed 84 yards on 22 carries in the 2 games. His stats this year are not that great behind a good offensive line. If he were playing on the Bears right now, with the way their offensive line is and all the penalties that team gets, he would have less yards. I can guarantee it. He is not the reason Pittsburgh is winning those games. They're winning with special teams and defense just like the Bears. Now, quarterbacks, they get the stats. They get the wins and losses. That doesn't always mean that they are the reason that the team wins and loses games. You can lose because of your defense. You can win because of your defense. And people just don't understand that. I don't think people get that when they look at that stuff. But yeah. So, like I said, I'm looking at it like this. Justin Fields would not, I feel, be as good. Okay? I don't feel he'd be as good in Chicago as he is there. Just my 2 cents. Now, back to Caleb Williams. Let's look at the penalties for the Bears this year. Caleb Williams has thrown for 267 yards in 2 games. Justin Fields has 273 yards in 2 games. Literally 6 yards more in 2 games than Caleb Williams, and only 1 more touchdown. Caleb threw 0 and he threw 1. How are people honestly going to look and say that Justin Fields would have been better in Chicago? He has a better offensive line in Pittsburgh. I mean, this is almost comical. I'm taking screenshots of this to show people on TikTok later, because it really is almost comical that people will sit there. Yeah, I had a screenshot of those really quick. It is almost comical that people sit there and tell you that, oh, I'd rather have Justin Fields back. He hasn't done much better with a better offensive line. Now, I'll give you this. The Bears have a better receiving core than Pittsburgh does, but not a better offensive line. And that's the main thing. And a run game. What has Pittsburgh done on the ground? I mean, let's look at Pittsburgh really quick and see their run game. So let's look and see their stats. This is how you do this. This is why Google is the most beautiful creation ever assembled. Okay? All right, so Najee Harris is their main guy. So let's see what he's done in each game. 69 yards and 70 yards in the 2 games. So he had 69 yards against Denver last week and 70 yards against Atlanta. No rushing touchdowns. Okay, so now let's go look at the Chicago Bears running backs and see what they've done. Rushing wise, here we go. Rushing wise, Caleb Williams leads with 59 yards of total rushing yards. He leads with 59 yards. DeAndre Swift, 48. Travis Homer, 16. Those are the top 3 rushers for the Bears right now. The quarterback has the most yards. DeAndre Swift, 48 yards. And that's in 2 games. So now if you look at him just by himself, okay, he's had 24 carries for 48 yards in 2 games. Against the Texans, he rushed for 18 yards. In Tennessee, he rushed for 30. How do you expect a quarterback to be able to, do anything when there's no run game? You can't pass every single possession. You just can't. The successful teams have a good running game and a decent offensive line. The Bears have neither of those right now. And you're telling me that Justin Fields is going to make a difference? I'm screenshotting that too. Where's my Najee Harris really quick? This is going to be like a 10-minute. I'll be doing like a 10-minute video later on TikTok. So if you haven't added me yet, go add me to TikTok. Down below in the comments, you'll see all my social media. But yeah, so here's the Bears statistics through the 2 games. Total first downs, 26. Opponents, 31. Rushing yards, 9 yards rushing. Third down conversions, 8 of 30. Our defense is making 7 of 28 for opponents. Fourth down conversions were 3 of 4. That's not horrible. Total offensive yards, we're averaging 300. We have 353 total yards of offense in 2 games on 124 plays. This is insane. 267 total passing yards, 2 interceptions, 9 sacks. We're 5 for 5 on field goals, 3 touchdowns. 1 on special teams, 1 on defense, and 1 rushing. It's just horrible. We've only given up 3 touchdowns total to the opponents in 2 games. That's 2 passing and 1 rushing. Our defense is great. If you look at our defensive numbers, they're awesome. We just cannot score. We can't get down the field. Is that a Caleb Williams problem? A little bit at times, but not all the way. Drop passes don't help. Caleb Williams, I mean, he has 267 yards right now in 2 games. Justin Fields has 273 behind a good offensive line. DeAndre Swift has only rushed for 48 yards so far. DJ Moore has 89 yards in 2 games. He should have that in 1 game as the starter. Keenan Allen missed last week. Rome Odunze, he's a rookie. He's going to come along. TJ Edwards, 23 total tackles. Jaquan Brisker, 17. Tremont Edmonds, 15. Not bad. Not bad at all. We also need to get Montez Sweat going. He's got 2 tackles in 2 games. We need to get him on the sacks a little bit. So far, sack-wise, Tremaine Edmonds has 1, 2 for Darnell Taylor, 2 for Gervin Dexter Sr., and 1 for Jack Sanborn. Interception for Tyreek Stevenson and Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson just got paid some good money. Made an interception in 1 in 2 weeks. You're not going to get 1 a game. It just doesn't always happen that way. Punting, Torrey Taylor, who was told he was not going to punt this year. 12 punts in 2 games. That's 6 a game he averages. It's pretty bad. His longest was 60. That's amazing. And then, of course, I'm fine with Carlos Santos because he's getting me points because he is my fantasy kicker. He's 3 for 3 from 50 to 59, 1 for 1 from 40 to 49, and then 1 for 1 from 20 to 29. So that's good. And he's gotten me a lot of points. But like I said, I mean, look, the Chicago Bears, offense. There is no offense right now until they fix the lineup enough. And here's the thing, 8 draft picks for the Bears. 8 draft picks equals, let's go out and see and throw it out there and see if we can get some offensive linemen. Let's take 2 or 3 draft picks and see what we can get. Let's throw it out there and see what the best we could get for that would be. I mean, you have Carolina's 2nd round pick, and you have your own 2nd round pick. Give up one of them. Give up Carolina's because it's going to be a lot better than ours. Because at this point, if you're going to spend it in the draft on a rookie, you might as well try to spend it on a veteran. Because if he makes a difference, like Montez Sweat made a difference on the defense last year when you traded a couple picks for him, and you didn't have to get an edge rusher because you got a couple of edge rushers that are decent. You drafted one later who I think is going to be an amazing player for us. He's going to take a little time to get him there, and they're having him sit behind Sweat to see what to do. And I like that. That's how you mold your players into being good. But yeah. All right, let's move on from some NFL because, like I said, I mean, some of it makes me mad and some of it doesn't. Oh, yeah, hold on. Of course, we got to look at the rankings. Let's do that really quick. So let's check out the NFL power rankings that are going into this. Let's see. So the NFL power rankings, I know I saved it here somewhere. Here we go. So for week 3, power rankings look like this. Kansas City Chiefs still at number 1. Buffalo Bills went up 5 spots to number 2. Number 3, Tampa Bay Buccaneers went up 3 spots to number 3. The Lions went down 2 spots to number 4. The Houston Texans went up 3 spots to number 5. The San Francisco 49ers went down 3 spots to number 6. The Pittsburgh Steelers went up 4 spots to number 7. Philadelphia Eagles dropped 3 spots to number 8. The Green Bay Packers went up 1 spot to number 9. New Orleans Saints went up 13 spots to number 10. The Minnesota Vikings went up 13 spots to number 11. New York Jets went up 4 spots to number 12. Falcons went up 6 spots to number 13. Let's see. The Ravens dropped 10 spots to number 14. San Diego Chargers went up 3 spots to 15. Cincinnati Bengals dropped 2 spots to number 16. The Cleveland Browns stayed the same at 17. Dallas Cowboys went down 6 spots to number 18. The Miami Dolphins dropped 10 spots to number 19. The Chicago Bears moved down 7 spots to number 20. Seahawks stayed the same at 21. Cardinals went up 4 spots to number 22. The Raiders went up 7 spots to number 23. Rams dropped 9 spots to number 24. Patriots stayed the same at 25. Commanders went up 3 spots to number 26. The Jaguars dropped 7 spots to 27. Colts dropped 6 spots to 28. Broncos went down 2 to 29. The Titans went down 2 spots to 30. Giants stayed the same at 31. And the Panthers, of course, still worst team at 32. So there's the power rankings going into week 3. We'll see what week 3 brings. It all starts. Oh, boy. What is that? Oh, I hate when they do ads. That ad probably is going to be on the show. That's why I stopped it. But, yeah. So there we go. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we win and move up a little bit for the Bears. I think we should beat the Colts. Hopefully the Colts stay behind us in the power rankings. All right, let's move on to some NCAA football. All right, so for NCAA football, the AP Top 25 looks like this. Number 25, Texas A&M, 2-1. And number 25. Number 24, the Illinois Fighting Illini get into the top 25 at 3-0. They were non-ranked last week. Let's see. Number 23, NIU at 2-0. Number 22 is Nebraska at 3-0. Number 21, Clemson is 1-1. At number 20, ISU 2-0. Number 19 is Louisville at 2-0. Number 18 is Michigan at 2-1. Notre Dame 17 at 2-1. 16 LSU at 2-1. Ohio State. OU. Sorry, I don't even know who is OU. They're 3-0 at number 15. Oklahoma State dropped 1 spot to number 14 at 3-0. I believe this is Kansas State or it could be Kent State. Hold on, let me click on this. I don't know every college team. Okay, Kansas State Wildcats. Okay, so Kansas State Wildcats are at number 13 at 3-0. They went up a spot. Number 12 Utah at 3-0. Number 11 USC at 2-0. PSU, which is Penn State, I believe. Make sure I'm right on that. Yep, the Nittany Lions. All right, they're number 10 right now at 2-0. Number 9, Oregon at 3-0. University of Miami is at number 8 at 3-0. Mizzou is number 7 at 3-0. Tennessee is 3-0 at number 6. Mississippi is at number 5 at 3-0. Alabama 3-0 at number 4. Roll Tide. Ohio State University is at 2-0. The Ohio State University is at 2-0, number 3. And then Georgia, number 2 at 3-0. And number 1 is Texas. The Longhorns are at 3-0 also at number 1. So they moved into number 1, and Georgia moved into number 2. So just a little switch there. Last week, Michigan was at 17. They dropped 1 to 18. I don't understand that. They went 2-1. I think they should be up a little higher, at least at number 16 where LSU is. But I don't know. We'll see what happens this week. Let's go into the games and see what's going on for this week. Friday night, you will see the number 24 Illinois Fighting Illini at the number 22 Nebraska. That's a Friday night game. Saturday, this is all for week 4 already of the season. Marshall, unranked, will take on number 3 Ohio State. North Carolina State takes on number 21 Clemson. Arizona State or Arkansas, I think it's Arizona State, right? Let me make sure. AR State. I always like to make sure that I'm right on it. No, Arkansas State. See, I was right the second time. Arkansas State takes on number 20 Iowa State. UCLA, unranked, takes on number 16 LSU. Georgia Tech takes on number 19 Louisville. Miami, Ohio takes on number 17 Notre Dame. Kent State takes on number 10 Penn State. Buffalo takes on number 23 Northern Illinois. USC, 11 USC takes on number 18 Michigan. Number 12 Utah takes on number 14 Oklahoma State. Vanderbilt takes on number 7 Missouri. Number 8 Miami, Florida takes on University of Miami takes on South Florida. Bowling Green takes on Texas A&M, number 25 on that. Number 6 Tennessee takes on number 15 Oklahoma. Georgia Southern takes on number 5 Ole Miss. LA Monroe takes on number 1 Texas on Saturday night. And number 13 Kansas State takes on BYU on Saturday night also. So those are the college football games. I hope to see my Michigan Wolverines go to 3-1. We'll see what happens there. All right, so let's move on now to a little WWE action. All right, so of course everybody knows WWE Bad Blood is on my birthday, Saturday, October 5th at night, so it's going to be a good one. Can't wait. That is going to be at the Allstate Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. I didn't even know there was an Allstate Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. That's pretty cool. Marks the return of the branding for the first time since 2004 when it was exclusive to Raw. With 3 weeks out from the showtime, this could be the complete card. We have Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns that was just announced versus the Bloodline. That's going to be good. We got a Hell in a Cell match, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. We've got Women's World Champion Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. We got Women's Championship Nia Jax versus To Be Determined. Jax and Tiffany Stratton are going to team up against Bayley and Naomi this Friday night on SmackDown, with the winner earning a title shot at Jax's title. Whoever loses, however, must leave the blue brand. That's going to be a good match. So we'll see what happens there. We got Damian Priest and Finn Balor. So that could be the full match card. We don't know if we're going to get a WWE Championship match. We obviously know we're getting 2 women's championship matches that night. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are teaming up against the Bloodline, so there will be no WWE Universal Championship, but there could be the World Championship. We still got Gunther, who has not been listed on this event yet. They may be giving him a pay-per-view off, though, and which necessarily wouldn't be a bad thing. You don't have to defend your title at every pay-per-view. So we'll see what happens there. Still a few weeks left. I mean, we still got SmackDown. We got a Raw and a SmackDown. And I believe another Raw and SmackDown. So, I mean, we still got a good 3 weeks left until Bad Blood. So, there's still enough time to add a match or two. But, I mean, if you look at what the pay-per-views have been doing lately, 5 matches is a pretty decent card for them because it's all about substance. You want to make your big events more matches and your smaller events just like a smaller match feel, but quality. I would rather have 5 quality matches than big quantities like AEW does. Last night it was announced on NXT. I was home from work and I actually got to see it for the first time in a long time. CM Punk was there. And he announced that in Chicago, when NXT premieres on October 1st from Chicago, Illinois, is going to be Evan. Hold on. Let me make sure I get these guys right because I don't really watch a lot of NXT. So hold on. Let me see. NXT Chicago. Let's see. Let's see what they announced. It's not TakeOver. Let me put it October 1st. I just want to make sure that I get it right. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. CM Punk is going to serve as the special guest referee in the title match between Trick Williams and Ethan Page on October 1st. That was awesome. That was awesome to hear. And then, of course, a few other matches. Of course, Roxanne Perez is going to face off against, what's her name? I don't, like I said, I really don't watch a lot of NXT, but I just want to see. So here's some matches that were announced. Let's see. All right. So October 1st, of course, we're going to see Wesley and Zach Wentz in a street fight. There's going to be a special episode of Miz TV. Roxanne Perez faces Juliana for the NXT Women's Championship. And then, of course, Ethan Page puts his NXT Men's Championship on the line against Trick Williams with CM Punk as the special guest referee. So that's going to be good. And then they already announced that the next week is going to be in St. Louis, and you will see Randy Orton there as a special guest. It's cool that they're bringing these guys in. I saw last week the Bloodline interfered and started beating up the tag teams there. So, whew, we're getting a lot of crazy stuff going on with NXT lately. And it's cool to see them move to the bigger arenas also for NXT, for just the regular shows too. I like that. So let's move on now to Bulls and Blackhawks. That's right. We're going to talk a little something other than football. All right. So the Chicago Blackhawks, they kick off their preseason next Wednesday night at home on September 25th against the Red Wings. So here's what it's going to look like for the preseason for the Blackhawks. Next Wednesday, September 25th against the Red Wings in Chicago. Then Friday, September 27th, the Blackhawks will play in Detroit against the Red Wings. That's going to be on the road. Then the Blackhawks, Saturday, September 28th, will be against the Blues in St. Louis. October 1st, on Tuesday, the Blackhawks and the Wild in Minnesota. Then the Wild on October 4th come to Chicago to play the Blackhawks. And the preseason will end October 5th on my birthday. That's a Saturday against the Blues in St. Louis. So that's exciting. I can't believe we are already at NHL preseason, NBA preseason. I'm going to go over that too really quick. We're not going to talk much about it right now. One more crazy thing, though, about the Blackhawks is they open up the NHL regular season on October 8th, 3 days after my birthday. That is the first regular season game, and that is against Utah, the brand new hockey team in Utah. That is awesome that they get to open up the first game in Utah. Now, I don't know if that's the first game for Utah. Let's see. Let's look at their schedule. Let's see if they play a regular season game against anybody else first. Nope, that's it. Hold on one second. Yeah, Utah and Chicago. It's going to be a very, very, very big game. I think we're all excited for that. And I'm sure the people in Utah are excited to get a hockey team. Let's move on to the NBA really quick. Let's go into here. Chicago Bulls kick off their preseason on the night that the Hawks kick off their regular season. So the Bulls preseason, October 8th, Bulls at the Cavaliers. October 12th, it's going to be the Grizzlies coming to town playing the Bulls in Chicago. October 14th, the Bulls travel to Milwaukee to play the Bucks. October 16th, Timberwolves at the Bulls. And then October 18th is the final preseason tune-up game. Cavaliers come to Chicago to play the Bulls. Bulls will kick off the season October 23rd in New Orleans against the Pelicans. So we will talk NHL and NBA in the next few weeks. We'll be talking about what the rosters look like. And of course, I'll talk about hockey first since the season comes quicker. And then we'll talk a little Bulls come like around like October-ish. We'll talk about the Bulls and where I think they're going to go for the regular season this year. But let's move on now. The sports segment's over. So if you're not a fan of entertainment, you could switch on over to something else. Listen to one of my old shows where I talk sports. But right now, let's talk a little bit of entertainment news. Very, very exciting stuff. I want to talk about Diddy for a minute. Diddy shocked the heck out of me. And not because it's a shocker that a billionaire would be weird, because it happens a lot, but it just bothers me because I was a big fan of Diddy back in the day. I was a big fan of Bad Boy Records. I was a big fan of, obviously, the Notorious B.I.G., Mace, Lil' Kim, Faith Hill, or not Faith Hill, Faith Evans, and then Diddy, of course, The Lox. I was a bigger fan of the West Coast, but I still like the East Coast, too. Diddy got put up on racketeering charges, sex trafficking, like a bunch of different charges, and he already saw the judge and they denied him bail. He is going to be stuck in jail until his trial, which is crazy because usually they get like a absorbent amount of a fine to get out of jail, their bail. It's usually like a huge number. They pay it, they get out. This guy literally has to stay in until this happens. Craziness. We'll see what happens there. Not going to talk much about that right now because I don't know all the stuff that's going on with it, so I'd rather be a little more researched on it. But Diddy, you're going down for a long, long time. You will probably never see the day of light again. And it's probably a good thing. Maybe you'll share a cell with R. Kelly. But yeah, let's move on. We'll talk more about Diddy as that goes on with the trial and everything. But let's move on right now to the Emmy Awards. Something a little more fun. All right, so the 76th annual Emmy Awards were hosted by Eugene and Dan Levy. They hosted the awards, and it was crazy. It was on air from LA's Peacock Theater, and it was live on ABC. Let's see who won all of the awards. So for Best Drama Series, winner was Shogun on FX. Let's see, they beat out, I'm surprised, but they beat out The Morning Show. Let's see, Best Actress in a Drama Series went to Anna Sawai from Shogun on FX. Best Actor in a Drama Series went to Hikaru Sanada from Shogun on FX. Sounds like a good show. I might have to check it out. Obviously, it won 3 Emmys right there. Best Supporting Actress in a Drama Series was Elizabeth Debicki from The Crown on Netflix. Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series, Billy Crudup from The Morning Show on Apple TV+. Best Comedy Series went to Hacks on HBO and Max. Best Actor in a Comedy Series went to Jeremy Allen White from The Bear on FX. Best Actress in a Comedy Series went to Jean Smart from the show Hacks on HBO Max. Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series went to Ebon Moss-Bachrach from The Bear on FX. Let's see. Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series went to Lisa Kalan-Zayas from The Bear. Best Limited or Anthology Series went to Baby Reindeer on Netflix. Best Actor in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie went to Richard Gadd from Baby Reindeer. Best Actress in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie went to Jodie Foster for True Detective Night Country on HBO Max. Best Supporting Actor in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie went to Lamorne Morris in Fargo on FX. Best Supporting Actress in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie went to Jessica Gunning for Baby Reindeer. Best Directing for a Drama Series went to Frederick E.O. Toy from Shogun. Best Directing for a Limited Series or Anthology Series or Movie went to Steven Zaillian from Ripley on Netflix. Best Directing for a Comedy Series went to Christopher Storer from The Bear. Best Writing on a Drama Series went to Will Smith for Slow Horses on Apple TV Plus. Is that the same Will Smith or is that a different one? Because sometimes, just sometimes, there are different actors and people who play roles with the same name. So let me check to make sure. Hold on really quick. We're going to go off into the little Google machine really quick, and we're going to see. Because like I said, I would just like to know if that's the same Will Smith. So let's see. Will Smith, let's search. Will Smith, Emmy. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's a white guy, Will Smith. I just wanted to check because I wasn't sure, and I was like, I wasn't gonna say Will Smith the actor and be like, look at all stupid. So that's why I said, let me. He said, despite my name, I come in peace, which is hilarious. But yeah, so I had no clue there was like another Will Smith. That's why I wanted to check. Let's see. Best Writing for a Limited or Anthology Series went to Richard Gadd for Baby Reindeer. Best Writing for a Comedy Series went to Lucia Ananole, Paul W. Downs, and Jen Statsky for Hacks on HBO. Best Writing for a Variety Special went to Alex Edelman for Just For Us, HBO Max. Best Talk Series went to The Daily Show, Comedy Central. Good job. That is awesome. I love The Daily Show, especially what they're doing right now with the political stuff. It's funny. Best Reality Competition went to The Traitors on Peacock. Might have to check that out. Best Scripted Variety Series went to Last Week Tonight with John Oliver on HBO Max. That beat out SNL. And it looks like it. It's the only ones I see right now. So there you go. Those are the Emmy Awards and who won. Of course, next year we'll see who wins the Emmy for different TV shows and everything. So yeah, let's move on to our next topic, which is Riot Fest. That's right. This weekend is Riot Fest in Chicago. It kicks off, I believe, is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Let me check the lineup and see. Let me look at everything. That's what I'm going to go over with everybody. We'll go over the lineup for each day. If you're going, I believe it's a 3-day, but it could be a 4-day. Let me see if it starts today or if it starts on Friday. Let me look. So Riot Fest lineup 2024. Let's see. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's a 3-day event. And let me see. Douglas Park. That's right. So here we go. Friday, September 20th. The main stages for the finish. I'm going to name some of the big ones. Okay, so for the Cabaret Metro stage, it's going to be Winona Fighter, The Warning, The Aces, Hot Mulligan, Sum 41, and it's going to end with Fall Out Boy. The AAA stage will be Action Adventure, Polaris, Poison the Well, State Champs, Newfound Glory, and then Album Play, The Offspring. Let's see. No FX World Stage is going to be Get Dead, The Exploited, The Defiant, All, Face to Face, The Lawrence Arms, Circle Jerks, and No FX. The Rise Stage will be People Are Ugly, Geryon, The Chisel, Tornillo, Suicidal Tendencies, Cypress Hill, and the Marley Brothers. It says featuring Bob Marley. And they're 8:30 to 10. They close out the night on that stage. And then the Radical stage is going to be Zahini, Homefront, Spiritual Cramp, Drug Church, Souls of Mischief, and the last band on that stage will be Public Enemy. So that's night one. Night two, September 21st. The Cabaret Metro stage is going to be Verbatim, Brutus, Buzzcocks, The Hives, Album Play, Manchester Orchestra Cope, St. Vincent, and Beck will finish off that stage 8:45 to 10 o'clock. The AAA stage, Pixel Grip, Princess Goes, Sir Chloe, Health, Spoon, and Pavement will close out that show right there. Let's see. NoFX World, Urethane, Confedence, The Dead Milkmen, The Dickies, DOA, Dillinger 4, Lagwagon, The Descendants, and NoFX, A Final Farewell. So I'm guessing they are retiring after this. The Rise stage, Liquid Mike, Lord of the Lost, Sweet Pill, The Armed, Sincere Engineer, Beach Bunny, LS Dunes, and Taking Back Sunday will end the night on that stage. And then the Radical stage, Dat Boy Zach, Heart Attack Man, Jake K's, Rival Sons, Clutch, Basement, Waxahachie, and then Bright Eyes will end it on that stage from 7:55 to 8:55. And then, of course, the last night of the show, Sunday, September 22nd, we will have on the Cabaret Metro stage, Sprints, Tsunami, Album Play of Mastodon, which is Leviathan, then Lamb of God, and Slayer closes it off from 8:15 to 10 o'clock on that stage. Let's see, the AAA stage, Huge, Nickelblicken, Gel, Guar, and then Rob Zombie from 7:05 to 8:10 on that stage. Let's see, the NoFX World stage for that night 3 will be Doom Scroll, Cobra Skulls, Swingin' Utters, Strung Out, The Vandals, Laura Jane Grace with Catbite, Pennywise, and of course NoFX, A Final Farewell that night too. And then the Rise stage will be Seven, Sasquatch, Fiddlehead, Cursive, Tierra Whack, Oliver Tree, and I'll end with Sublime from 9 to 10. So that is it. That is your Riot Fest. You could go to Riot Fest website, and it's riotfest.org, and you could check out the times. I didn't go over all the times for everybody. That was each stage for each night and who was going to be there. All the times are already listed. I just didn't want to do all the times. But you could tell who was first and last for each stage. So just figure the last band usually ends around 10 o'clock. So Fall Out Boy, NoFX, the Marley Brothers, Beck, NoFX, and Taking Back Sunday, and Slayer, NoFX, and Sublime will be the closers for each of the 3 nights. So yeah, make sure you check it out. If you're at Riot Fest, I hope you have a good weekend. I wish it was going to be on TV so I could watch Riot Fest, because I love a lot of those bands and I would love to see them, but not going to be there. Let's move on really quick and let's talk about, of course, the box office from last week. And let's see who was on there. Let's do it all. All right, so closed all the tabs for that, but let me see here. All right, so last week at the box office, the top 10 movies at the box office. Let me see. Hold on one. All right, so here we go. Top 10 movies of last weekend at the box office. Number 10 was God's Not Dead, In God We Trust. Weekend gross of $1.5 million, total gross of $2.1 million, weeks released 1. Number 9 was The Forge. Weekend gross of $2 million, $24 million total gross so far in 4 weeks. Blake Lively's movie, It Ends With Us, came in number 8, $2.1 million weekend gross, $145 million at the box office in 6 weeks. Number 7, Alien Romulus, did $2.4 million weekend gross with $102 million total gross in 5 weeks. Number 6 was The Killer's Game. Brand new movie, just came out. It looks like Batista's in it. Yup. Oh, I'm a big fan of Batista. I might have to see that one. Weekend gross of 2.7 million, total gross of 3 million. Not a great way to start your first week out. But then again, it doesn't look like it will be a crazy great movie either, so that's probably why. Number 5 was the movie Reagan. It did a weekend gross of 2.9 million, 24 million so far in 3 weeks. Number 4, Am I Racist? Weekend gross of 4.5 million, total gross of 5 million in 1 week. Number 3, wow, Deadpool and Wolverine finally out of the top 2 for the first time in its 8 weeks out. It did 5.2 million at the box office still, with a total gross of 622 million in 8 weeks. I don't think they're complaining about being in third place if they're still pulling in 5.2 million for the weekend in 8 weeks. Number 2 was a brand new release, Speak No Evil. Movie looks really good. It did 11 million in the box office with a total gross of 12 million in the first week. And then number 1, of course, 2 weeks in a row, not a shock here, Beetlejuice did a weekend gross of $51 million, 191 million total gross in 2 weeks. So great start for Beetlejuice. I'm excited. I'm glad that it's done what it's done at the box office. I can't wait to go see it. I'm excited. But yeah, so we are going to see where it falls next week. Any good movies coming out this week? Let's see. I know I brought up I have a list of movies. Let's see if there's anything good coming out this week. Didn't I have that here? Let me check. I'm just checking really quick. If not, then I'm not that worried about it. Movies coming out this week. Let's see. September. Let's see. Anything good? I don't even see anything on here. Transformers 1. That comes out this weekend. So that might do good. Might do decent. Chris Hemsworth's in it. Keegan-Michael Key. Aaron. Lawrence Fishburne. We're going to be in it. Steve Buscemi. Scarlett Johansson looks like she's on the list. So yeah, I think it'll be decent. Transformers 1 comes out this week. The Wild Robot, it's a PG movie, so it's for kids. Never Let Go. Let's see who's in that one. It was Halle Berry's in it. A family that's been haunted by an evil spirit for years. Their safety and their surroundings come into question when one of the children questions if the evil is real. So that looks pretty decent. Halle Berry's in it. She's the only one I know, so I guess, it's okay. The Wild Robot movie, a PG, it's a kid's movie. After a shipwreck, an intelligent robot called Roz is stranded on an uninhabited island. To survive the harsh environment, Roz bonds with the island's animals and cares for the orphan baby goose. Pedro Pascal is in that one. What If We Find the Road? It's an independent movie. Howl's Moving Castle comes out, a Walt Disney movie. Maybe it'll be good. We'll see. So those are the big movies coming out this weekend. I think Transformers 1 is probably the only one that I can think of that'll actually take that number 1 spot from Beetlejuice. The Wild Robot's a kids movie. People like kids movies. That could definitely break the top 3. And Never Let Go, anything with Halle Berry could do decent. So we'll see what happens. That's this week. Anything good coming out next week, we'll talk about it next week. But I'm just kind of looking ahead. Interstellar, Mean Girls. It's coming back to the theater. It's kind of weird. I guess they're bringing it back to the theater again. 20-year anniversary. That's probably why. But yeah, so I'll talk about that next week. We'll see what happens. But until then, I will see everybody next week. Email me and let me know. Of course, this episode of the Robbie.G podcast is brought to you by BMG Money. If you need a short-term loan on $2,000 or less, hit me up and I will give you a promo code to use, and you can use that to get a loan from BMG Money. Good credit or bad credit, it does not matter. I will talk to everybody next week. Email me and add me to all the social media that is on there. You'll see it in the show notes below. Enjoy your weekend. It is officially going to be fall on Sunday. So we are going to be in fall. That's like the big thing. Summer is officially over Saturday. So get out there. It's still going to be in the 80s for the next couple of days. So get out there and enjoy your time out there. Watch some football. Maybe do it outside. Bring your TV outside. Watch it out there. I'll see everybody next week. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and I love you all a lot. See you next week. This is the end of our broadcast day.